Prior to the Industrial Revolution, transportation was accomplished through the use of domesticated animals or by walking. The wagon and horse carried most of the products to market. People also traveled by wagon or carriage. Actually, people and products didn't move very far from home. Most areas were self-sufficient, so people didn't have to bring very much from outside. Therefore, the road systems connecting different areas were usually poor. The situation changed as the Industrial Revolution spread throughout Great Britain, Europe, and the United States. Industrialization brought with it new types of roads, trains, and many other forms of communications which simply did not exist prior to industrialization. So before the Industrial Revolution, it was very hard to keep in touch with people in other parts of the country. News was spread by travelers or through messengers, and goods were distributed within the locality in which they were produced. Because it was so hard to move around, and there were no cars, planes, or even tarmac roads, people had to rely upon themselves and their communities to provide the vast majority of the things that they needed. The three main elements that revolutionized transportation were waterways, roads, and railroads. During this time period, transportation via water was the cheapest way to move heavy products such as coal and iron. As a result, canals were widened and deepened to allow more boats to pass. The roads also improved immensely during this period. Previously, people traveled using animals or by foot, but there were many problems with the conditions of the roads. Turnpikes were created for easier transportation, especially for the horse-drawn wagons. The road surface consisted of crushed rock in thin layers. Horses were the closest thing to trains, and were commonly used to pull freight cars along rails. All improvements in transportation made traveling safer and allowed goods to be moved more efficiently. Before the Industrial Revolution, the world had high transport costs. High transport costs were a major constraint in economic activity and travel. Road transport evolved from pack horses and small wagons to large wagons and stagecoaches running continuously between London and major cities. Steam-powered rail wagons and coaches would display both horse-drawn wagons and stagecoaches. Estimates demonstrate that transport experienced high productivity, growth, and par with other key sectors of the Industrial Revolution like textiles, iron, and mining. Steam power was one of the most important inventions used during the Industrial Revolution. The first steam engine was created during the 17th century, but was modified by many different engineers until it was successfully used in the 1800s. James Watt, a Scottish engineer, spent 2 decades working on the engine and solving its technical problems. The engine was created to help factories and to replace the animals used in the past to power machinery. British entrepreneurs and craftsmen used Watt's coal-saving engine to power their machinery. Still, Watt's engine was too big to run steam-powered vehicles, so it was made smaller to fit into locomotives and ships. What's design of the steam engine is important because it revolutionized the way Europe saw power, and without him it could have taken decades more to develop the useful device. The steam engine broke the barriers of the past and was a vital part in the creation of new transportation during the Industrial Revolution.
The steam engine and its use in transport. In 1781, James Watt released an improved version of the steam engine, which worked faster, all while burning less fuel. This is one of the main inventions of the Industrial Revolution. This new and improved engine began to find use in factories, but in 1797-1799, Richard Trevithick developed it into a smaller one, capable of fitting in steam locomotives. This completely revolutionized transport, as the steam engine made its way into trains, ships, and eventually, cars. The use of the steam engine made transport much faster, so travel and migration was made easier, and therefore increased. Also, international commerce was benefited, as products could now be carried overseas in much less time. By the end of the 19th century, steam-powered transport on both sea and land was largely dominant. Without the steam engine and its influence, we would never have known most of the means we use as transport today.
Created using Powtoon.